Hello everyone. This instructional video targeting teachers and instructors will provide you with basic approaches and tips for making and launching water rockets. Water rockets are easy to make and use materials found in daily life. Children will be thrilled and their creativity stimulated watching their handmade rockets take to the sky. Rockets that perform well have good science behind them. So, it is essential that you understand the basics of water rockets. I'd like you to enjoy watching this video before building safe and high-performance water rockets with your students. Now, how about I explain how to make a water rocket? What materials should we use? The water rocket consists of three basic parts: the body, the head or nose cone, and the tail, which includes fins. We use PET bottles to make the body and the head. Every rocket requires 2 PET bottles, specifically bottles used for carbonated beverages. We will use one of the bottles for the rocket's body. The other bottle we will cut apart and use to fashion the head or nose cone. PET bottles used for mineral water, tea and other non-carbonated soft drinks are available, but they are weaker than carbonated drink PET bottles and therefore unsuitable for water rockets. There are also square-shaped bottles. We don't use these because air pressure will cause them to deform. Please keep these points in mind. So get yourself some carbonated drink PET bottles, empty and rinse and dry them, and peel off their labels. If you have trouble removing the label, you can use a cutter to scrape it away. Avoid damaging the bottle's body when using the cutter. You need 2 flawless carbonated drink PET bottles. Check them over before putting them to use. We now have our materials for the rocket body, which will generate the thrust for the water rocket. Next, we need tail fins. These will allow the rocket to achieve high, stable flight. For the fins, we will use moderately hard PVC sheets. You can find them at your local do-it-yourself outlet. To achieve maximum stability, you're advised to position the fins as far back from the body as possible. This calls for a cylindrical tail section, which you see here. To make the aft cylindrical section, we use a soft plastic material, such as that used for plastic folders. To make the cylinder, we'll take scissors to a clear file sheet and then attach 4 fins to it. Another key point to ensure stable flight is to make the rocket's front end heavy. We'll use modelling clay as ballast. We'll attach a piece of clay to the front of the rocket to make it heavier. 50 grams of clay will be sufficient. In addition, we will use a large-sized trash bag to reduce damage to the rocket when it returns to Earth. Attached to the nose cone, the trash bag acts as a cushion, absorbing the impact. Finally, we will need a nozzle. The nozzle connects the rocket to the launcher. Placing it securely on the launch pad is important to ensure a successful launch. While you can replace the nozzle with readily available articles such as a bicycle tyre valve or a rubber stopper, we will use a ready-made nozzle as a safety precaution. The nozzle will be attached to the PET bottle's mouth, like so. All of the materials needed to build a rocket have been assembled. You'll also need a pair of scissors, some vinyl tape, a magic marker, ruler and a cutter. The use of plywood or a cutting mat is recommended, as they will protect your workspace and desk from damage by the scissors and cutter. Let's now have a look at the water rocket building process. First, measure out the 4 fins on a PVC sheet. Use a ruler and a magic marker. Next, cut out the fins. You can use a cutter, but a pair of scissors would be safer. Now, divide the base of each fin into 4 equal parts. Make 3 cuts at intervals of 2.5 centimetres. Here again, remember to mark the cuts beforehand. Alternately, bend the 4 parts to the left and the right. You can bend them straight, neatly and easily by aligning the ruler with the line like this. With the 4 tail fins ready, let's make the aft cylinder or skirt to which the fins will be attached. First, cut the clear file at the joint to spread it open. Then, cut it into halves along the vertical centre line. You can use a cutter, but a pair of snissors would be safer. Wrap one of the sheets around the PET bottle and adjust the length of the cylindrical section until it's snug. Wrap the sheet around the bottle's fore section and adjust its length so that the cylinder protrudes slightly. Now, let's attach the fins to the cylinder. The fins must be attached to the rocket body at right angles and at intervals of 90 degrees. This means you must divide the circumference into 4 equal parts. Once again, wrap the film cylinder around the PET bottle and mark the circumference. Then, divide the circumference into 4 equal parts. It is now possible to fit the water rocket with the fins at intervals of 90 degrees.